Scenario review, William O'Leary, week 1. As a community nurse who's been called in to see Mr. O'Leary about his leg ulcers, there are a number of issues after the initial assessment that is of concern. The first one for me is his wounds, the fact that he has two, one on each leg. They are of significant size, and they will take a long while for us to manage effectively if they're actually going to heal. Number of side issues that are linked into there. Firstly is his weight. He's certainly an overweight fellow, but I guess given his diet and his level of exercise, that's understandable. But him having all that extra weight on board will actually make it really difficult to optimise his level of health and also to try and get these leg ulcers better. His shortness of breath is an ongoing problem, and I think it will make it much more difficult for him. The issue is really about the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen, but if he's experiencing persistent shortness of breath on exertion, he's not going to be too prone to actually doing a lot of exercise. That's not going to be good for his lower leg circulation, so it's going to delay his wound healing. The intermittent cough, it's dry and non-productive. That will be restrictive for him. I'm sure it's also irritating for him that he's not able to actually do too much without getting this cough on board. The fact that it's non-productive tell me it's not of infectious origin. If he had an infection, he would be certainly producing a lot of mucus. If it's dry, it's much more likely to be related to respiratory irritation, probably from his cigarettes. The swelling in his lower legs and ankles is clearly a concern in terms of its restriction on his level of mobility, because once you've got lots of fluid down around your ankle joints, it actually works as a physical splint and stops the joint moving easily. It will also make his wound healing difficult because of the amount of fluid that's there. The pain in his lower legs on exercise, clearly an issue in terms of restricting his mobility, but much more limited, much more cause of or being caused by a lack of oxygen in mobility. So when he actually starts to use his lower legs and his leg muscles are demanding some more oxygen, they're not able to be supplied because of his restricted circulation, and therefore he's going to be experiencing some pain. Being a cigarette smoker will also have a huge issue on his level of fitness. There are also issues in terms of whether or not he's actually keen to think about giving up cigarette smoking. There's the issue of the nicotine and how that withdrawal from nicotine is managed. There's also the issues too in terms of being a cigarette smoker that it reduces the ability of oxygen to attach to the hemoglobin molecule, and therefore it reduces the amount available for circulation throughout the body. That will impact on his overall levels of energy, will also impact on his wound healing. So for Mr. O'Leary, he's got a number of issues that actually need to be sorted out if we're actually truly to manage his wound ulcers.